The first reading from the Hebrews is something that has been picked up by especially our Protestant brethren because of their insistence on the Word. We have the fullness of the sacramental system, but they only have one part of the Church's life. Apart from baptism and holy matrimony, they haven't got the sacraments, but they have this bit which has come out of their origin, grace overflowing in the Word. But they use it well. I once heard it put this way, that we have a good, full set of cards, a good deck of cards, but we don't know how to play them. They have a very bad one, but they play them very well. And I remember having studied with these people, for instance, theology in Bangor with future preachers, ministers, that they really knew what the Word, the power of the Word was. They would have prayer meetings before class, and they would be experts at juggling with words. Now, it's something that we need to recuperate. The Word has power. When one is thinking about the end of life, one is thinking also about what the soul sees and hears one moment after life is over. That applies to each one of us. We see things as they are, we hear things as they were, and the echoes of our words, and the ripple effect of what we said. This for good or for bad. For good, I think of the likes of words here and there which have had an influence. I remember as a child being taken to chapel in Wales by my family in the country, and for the first time I heard a sermon not in Welsh, it was in English, because in the summer holidays they had invited a young preacher to come, and he preached on the gospel of this day, the call of Levi. And I remember it hit me. He preached at length on this word, follow me. And we could see how he was actually acting this out, a young man going to give all his life to going through different pulpits all over the country giving the word. And it hit me, that actually is a beautiful life and a safe way forward. But that was just a word coming from the heart, going through the air and landing in another heart. Our words can actually orientate. In reverse, think of the damage that our words can do. We're all in this together, by the way, whether in a monastery or in a family. Our words do damage. It's important not to let out a word which is envenomed. It will go into the heart and really hurt. Now, as we start this new year, we think of these things, because as we think of a person who has gone on, it's all over, there will be no more words. We still have time. Will I or will I not, in this short innings, always give blessing, always give warmth, or will I allow certain exceptions to come out, words with sharp ends? And by the way, if we do that, we are suffering as well. We can't get away from the fact that we know we have caused pain, we have created a bad atmosphere in which we too are bathed. Do we want that? Or do we want to go through life giving what actually will come back to us, warmth? Each of us carries around an aura, some atmosphere around us which actually people and even animals pick up. As regards what is out there, I would invite you to calm down, because one thing that we do to ourselves, which perhaps the Lord wants us to stop doing to ourselves in this pandemic, is over complicating our short innings. We don't have to be always engaged with things outside our souls, on machines in particular. If we can't sit still, our quality life is very diminished. A rich soul is a self-sufficient soul. A weak soul has to have the crutch of someone else's soul always filling it up. That usually now is virtual. People can't bear the sound of silence. But the quality of life is in those moments. Why? We're not made for this other stuff. And at the moment of death, the soul knows that. And it comes home. This is the end. It's also the beginning of all eternity. And we conquer eternity with the use of short seconds. And some seconds at the end of time sway all eternity. Just think of that. Every death is the beginning of something that will have no end. And that's just what Olnik wants us to forget. Keep them distracted. Keep them outside themselves. I just conclude. I see that here you are in the country. You have natural healing around you in the country. It was drawn to my attention recently how animals actually pick up things more than we think. There's a beautiful little clip going around of a dog sitting next to the lady of the house who is about to kill a bird. It's something which the dog picks up and rescues the little hen or chicken at that point, goes out of his way to stop any movement of the good lady of the house, and then goes, you wouldn't believe it, into prayer mode. It's interesting that the animals protect each other and pick things up. Just the other day, it was pointed out to me as I was celebrating Holy Mass on the second altar which I have, the one which has access to the outside directly if one opens the door, the French window, that throughout the Holy Mass there was a little robin at the French window. And at the moment of consecration, the robin stood still and without moving at all, with the whole of the consecration elevation, looked towards the Lord, its King. Now tell me if that isn't a message. And that's the way that the Lord wanted it to be. We put him in the midst, and without an awful lot of fuss and bother, enjoy the privilege of being in harmony with the power that made us, but on the other side is glad to say, good and faithful servant, come, this is what is awaiting you.